and how to get the country up and running again. That'll be the focus of a second coronavirus task force. CBN White House correspondent Ben Kennedy joins us from the North Lawn. Ben, this clearly is a top priority for the president.
Yeah, John, no doubt you're right. This new group's main priority is the economy, which you were just talking about, which is weighing heavily on both the American public and the president himself. He calls it the biggest decision he's ever had to make, when and how to reopen the country. This becoming the latest battle to take center stage in the West Wing. President Trump hoping to roll back restrictions by May.
The President of the United States has the authority to do what the President has the authority to do, which is very powerful. The President of the United States calls the shots.
But some say that's not so clear-cut.
I think generally the power resides with the states, and my guess is the court would bend in that direction also. It's difficult to imagine the necessity of a national policy when it comes to reopening the economy, for example.
Several states from New York to California are already talking about ways to take the next step. Steve, you're talking about different states, different businesses. Right. Bottom line, what needs to be done to reopen the economy?
Well, the president's going to need to issue an executive order saying that certain states can open, but ultimately the logistics of this will be decided by the nation's governors.
President Trump making one move with an economic task force he's calling the Opening Our Country Council. He plans to take a leading role alongside new Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who will play a supporting role. The White House has assembled an expert panel of doctors and business leaders to join the task force. Trump predicts once doors are open again, the economy will take off like a rocket. Observers warn some workers and even consumers will be hesitant to return to life as it was.
I think if the government can focus on consumer confidence with the underlying principle for communications being truth, then I think demand will start to come back because ultimately this economic issue is a demand issue. It's not a supply issue, and demand is going to be a function of how well consumer confidence rebounds from what's obviously a significant decline from cyclical highs.
How long do you think it'll take before we're basically back to normal?
When are we going to get back to normal? That is the question that all of us want an answer to. It's not going to be like an ignition switch of a car that we can just reopen the economy and everybody's going to get back to work. I wish that were the case. It's going to take, in my opinion, about 3 or 4 months before we have the end of this recession, and then it's going to be a slow recovery.
Now, the CDC says the first step to reopening is widespread testing, which is not yet available. It'll also likely be a year before a coronavirus vaccine, that is